Hi, I'm Joshua Hayward. Welcome to Straight from the Source. An astrological update as a series of videos on my new channel, and it's meant to be a companion to the newsletter that I write on my website, www.dynamicmindcreativeheart.com, which also contains a blog, and you're welcome to read that blog and interact with it. Also to make comments on videos. So just a little bit of background information about where I'm going to go. I see us moving towards the winter solstice of 2012, which is the end of the Mayan calendar. And it's the beginning of a new paradigm that we're transitioning into from an astrological point of view, we're exiting the age of Pisces and moving into the age of Aquarius. There are many ways of describing this transition. Some people are calling it the ascension. We're certainly beginning to relate to our lives individually and with each other and with the planet, with our galaxy, with the cosmos, moving into more consciousness about spiritual oneness that underlies all of our experience. And okay, so that's where I'm coming from, and all of these videos and my newsletter on the website will be about information leading towards that awakening experience. So to begin, to put us in time-space continuum, today, as I'm recording it, is May 19th. Tomorrow is May 20th, and in that evening we're experiencing the first of two eclipses. This is a solar eclipse, and it's with the sun at 29, almost zero. We're looking at 29 Taurus, or almost zero Gemini. Okay, so the sun and the moon are both conjunct there, and we've got a conjunction with Jupiter and Mercury also in late Taurus. Technically, the eclipse is in zero Gemini, but we really want to look at the Taurian influence, right? At all those planets from late Taurus and the sun and the moon transitioning into early Gemini. I think there's a strong Taurian influence. Okay, and this solar eclipse, which is an annular eclipse. Now, just to lay a little bit of information on you about this eclipse is really laying on what we call the nodal axis of the moon, the south node, north node of the moon. And this eclipse lays right within a few degrees of where the south node of the moon is in Gemini. The north node of the moon is in the opposite sign, the polarity sign of Sagittarius. So these are two signs of consciousness about Gemini, lower mind, and processing things from that perspective, and Sagittarius being higher mind, moving from I think to I perceive, moving into deeper perception. Okay, so it's almost as if this is like a destiny thing, where we've been, where we're going. So the south node of the moon is like we've been ingesting this stuff, and it's moving into a digestive process in consciousness and coming out with a higher vibration of Sagittarius. So what are we looking at with the Taurian planets in that sign? Have to do with havingness. It has to do with being in the material world, money, value systems, what's important to us. And so we're looking at our bank accounts, we're looking at the economy, we're looking at what is most important, what we'd really like to have in our lives. And there's a basis in that in our minds in what we are taught to believe, I feel, or what we have learned. And so this eclipse has got to do with seeing if things and acting upon things from our process of what we've learned. What if those things are not any longer true? What if they might not have ever been true? Because we're looking at a patriarchal consciousness crossing that line of the where those 4 planets are on the south node, and then where we're going to the north node of the moon, where our direction is right now. Crossing that, forming a grand cross, is Mars and Virgo on one side and Neptune and Pisces on the other side. So very briefly here, it's about releasing fear about not having enough, fear about that we can't get what we want, and acting upon that by trying to control situations, and the whole patriarchal tendency there. So this is about, with the wounded healer in Neptune, healing fears, releasing fears, and moving into higher consciousness, and being on the material plane with our lower chakras, connecting up with some higher information that we don't have to come from fear, that we can have what we want, have what we need, through awareness and through a sense of just allowing, and our true connection with source energy, where we don't have to go out and control things and maybe do some things that can even be harmful. So there's a healing of male energy that wants to do better, for lack of a better word. Okay, so second eclipse, that moving from May 20th to June 4th, the second eclipse is really very similar in the sense that the north node, south node of the moon are the same. We've got the sun and Venus now has moved into conjunction to the Gemini south node, and we still have the crossing of Mars and Neptune and Chiron on the other side. So what we're getting here is another grand cross, basically an essential grand cross, with Mars square Sun and Mars square Venus. So we're trying to bring in the Venusian aspect now, of bringing in the feminine and having a balance between masculine and feminine energies, and having a more spiritual consciousness through that. And that would be part of our healing for this eclipse, that we can really integrate the male and female energies into our approach to being here on the planet. And we need the higher consciousness understanding of that. This is extremely important for us to understand. Okay, Venus and the Sun in Gemini, square Mars in Virgo. These energies want a solar, awareness to come into clarity about this is our life on this planet, that we can be in harmony with ourselves and with each other, and we can still be on the material plane in a positive way. So I really see this as great transitional material. And Sagittarius has really got to do with, in fact, later on in that sign, around 26, 27, is the center of the galaxy, and how we're pointed towards that from the Earth, okay, from our perspective. And this is going to come in really important as the plane of the Earth's equator in the ecliptic lining up with the center of the galaxy. At that time, it's important for us to, and that world tree is actually a grand cross too. So these two eclipses are like precursors to us aligning with this new paradigm, this new information, which is really about balance. And so also there's the crossing, Venus crossing the Sun a day and a half or so after the second eclipse on June 6th, there's a sort of a divine feminine interaction, which is talking about us being protected and safe here on the planet. The Mayans were very interested in Venus's really close crossing of the sun, which doesn't happen very often. So it's really important for us to understand that all of this is coming together right at this particular point in time. So take this into your meditations and contemplations, and hopefully this can be useful for you in your growth. And also understand that we're moving towards later on in June where transits are going to start skyrocketing. We get the first exact Uranus-Pluto square. We got Saturn stationed next to it. We've got really just as intense stuff happening very soon after that in July, and then some profound things happening in September leading towards the winter transits. So anyway, that's where we're at right now. I hope this can be helpful. I really thank you for your interest in joining me on the channel, and I welcome you to come back and check out all the videos that I'm putting out, and read our newsletter too, and stay in touch with us. Also, we have a Facebook page, Dynamic Mind Creative Heart business page. So if you want to friend us there, that would be a really good way of staying in touch with us. So once again, thanks for your interest, and I wish you well.